Hello everyone! Happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining me here tonight. We are continuing on the Granny Square Quilt. We are sewing the bottom sashing to our strip. So we got row number 1 sewn up yesterday, and we are going to add that strip to rows 2 through 5 tonight. So thanks for joining me here. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for beginning crafters. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it's a time that we can relax and craft together. So I'm here for about an hour, and we're going to get an hour more done of quilt today. So we are continuing on the Granny Square Quilt. Here are my other 5 rows. We have 6 rows total. 5 of those get the sashing pieces, so we got those here. All ready to go, measured, perfect. We did all that yesterday, and now we are going to sew them onto the bottom part of each of these rows to make basically a bigger row. And then we'll be ready to sew all the rows together, and we will almost have a quilt top. We're getting there. Slowly but surely, we are going to get a quilt top done for this hopefully soon. That'd be great. So thank you guys again for joining me here. Let's get going. All right, here we are. All of our rows, all of our sashing. So the sashing, what that means is the little mini borders that go around blocks in the center. So it's like a border for the blocks, but it's within the quilt, not on the outside of the quilt. So that's what sashing is. We got to do some short sashing pieces when we sewed the blocks together, but now we're putting a big long sashing piece on the bottom, just so it looks like, we got sashing on all sides. So this is a long one. So we did it for row number 1, and we cut them all yesterday. So we have 4 more here. And we had to actually piece these together. There's one of our seams. So they're long enough because it's longer than the normal width of fabric. So we got those already here. Number 1 is done. I don't need these sashing pieces, so I'm going to set those to the side for now, and we'll get row number 2 out here. Oh, and this sitting out here, I wanted to show you guys again our embroidery of the month for March is the herb bouquet. We got some parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. I think they're so pretty, those little thyme leaves. So this is March's embroidery of the month. It comes as a bundle with the floss, or as just the fabric with the pattern on, or just the PDF. If you get the fabric with the pattern, or the bundle that has the fabric with the pattern, you'll also get the PDF pattern as well. So check that out on penguinandfish.com. We'll be stitching that up the 3rd week of the month here. So not next week, but the week after. So there's enough time to get bundles and stuff in the mail. All right, number 2 is here. I'm going to set all the other numbers aside too, because we're going to be taking up some space here. All right. And I'm going to need my little clips tonight. I don't think I'm going to need the rotary cutter tonight anymore. We did use that yesterday. So, all right, I have a strip, and I have row number 2. So I'm going to lay this out. First thing we got to do is press this, because we're pressing the rows as we work on them. So I'm going to flip this around, and we are going to press the sashing seams towards the middle. So we haven't pressed these sashings yet. That's what we're going to do first. Got my iron heated up here. This is going to get, and I'm going to flip it around to the front, and we'll press the whole row here really nicely before measuring, or before combining it with the sashing, the long sashing piece. I want to do this nice ironing because this is like the last chance to get everything all pressed out before we match it with the sashing. And the sashing is the exact width that we want this quilt to be, or this row to be. So that's what I'm using as my guide. Everything's got to match up to that sashing. Whereas this, we made some blocks a little bit big, some a little small, and it's pretty stretchy. So we need to match this to the rows to have this all work out. Oh yes, thanks, Colleen. Colleen says, thanks for taking the time to. Yeah, we had to to fix the sound and video, so we had sound and video things yesterday. Man, it's like every time I update the computer, like it wants me to, it freaks everything else out. So I'm glad we got that figured out for sure. So hoping that you guys can hear me and I wasn't frozen on that first frame tonight here. All right, I'm just going over it again, just getting the front, just kind of really making sure I got into these seams, and then giving the blocks a nice press as well. Just getting a nice, pretty flat piece going here. Here, I think I could cover more ground if I went this direction. There we are. Oh, did you guys see all of our tea towels came in? So if you pre-ordered any of the tea towels, those really pretty tea towels, the that gray check and that cream with the red stripe and the blue sort of double stripe one that's kind of vintagey looking, all of those, your orders went out today, so you should receive those really, really soon. And I think we have a few more of each, not a ton, so I'll probably order more, but they are available, so if you order them now, they'll come right away. They won't be a pre-order anymore. But I was pretty excited to get that box of prettiness yesterday. I like these dark ones like this. I think those are really fun. Ooh, and we have another really fun thing coming up. Not this week, but probably the week after. We're putting together like a studio sale, basically. We haven't named it yet, but we are going to sell a bunch of seconds. So if you guys don't know what seconds are, they're basically items that we didn't think were quite perfect, and that might just mean like there's one little dot on it somewhere, or it's mostly things that no one else would know, but we wanted things to be absolutely perfect when we send it. So these are some items that we have left over. So we do have some extra tea towels that are basically perfect. They might just have like a little thread that's a different color in here and there, like that sort of stuff. So we are going to have a second sale very soon here. So you're going to want to be in on that, because it's going to be a lot of fun stuff for way cheaper than normal. So we're putting that together, and that'll be in a couple weeks as well. All right, I still need, but I wanted to give you guys a heads up here. I still need to, hold on a sec. Oh yeah, I'm way behind in the comments. Sorry here, they were stuck. Oh, Gretchen says, I love a sale. So cool, I love a sale. Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun. There's going to be like some special floss and some other really fun special things from the studio there. All right, I'm going to fold this in half. And really, we kind of know what we want as the middle, and that's right in the middle of this sashing piece. And I'm just going to mark it. And I've been marking it by just pressing it a little. So I'm lining up the two seams of the sashing here. And you can finger press, but I'm just putting a little tiny press mark there. And what I'm doing there is just marking the center of the piece. So I'm going to mark the center of this piece, and then also the center of, I'm going to finger press this one, I think, the center of our sashing piece, because then we can line those edges, those marks up, and we'll be perfectly centered. So I'm trying not to stretch the top or bottom of this, so I'm just lining it up on a flat surface here first. And I'll finger press it, which just means I'll just use my fingers to squish it instead of an iron, but then I am going to do the iron as well. I just want to make sure that I'm right in the center. Okay, so just going to put that little tick mark right there. I think now that I have it, I'm going to do it again with the iron. Just because I got confused last night when I just finger pressed it. I couldn't tell what my finger press was versus other little folds along the line here. All right, so now I should have that center fold here as well. There we are, right there. So that is what I want to match up with this fold with right sides together, and I might have done that wrong. Here, let's go this way. There we go, right sides together. So I'm going to match those folds in the middle, and I am going to put a clip right there. We're going to clip this whole edge. I'm going to sit down for that. Oh, Gretchen says, I'm praying my borders fit perfectly on the sides. I'm scared to check. Yeah, so for the borders, once we get to that, the first border is very much like this sashing piece. I'm hoping they match as well. We'll be doing the same process with that, though. I'll be folding it in half and folding the whole quilt in half, marking it, and then I might even put other marks that should match along the edge. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But yep, I'm not thinking about that. That's definitely on my mind too, just that they match up. So I'm just gonna clip. I'm matching up the ends now. That's easy enough to do. Oop, helps if this is open. All right, and now is the part where I gotta kind of meet everything in the middle here. So I'm trying to make sure to the best I can that I'm kind of evenly displacing, or evenly like having the back, the blocks like match up with this. Like it's not like, this isn't like super bulky here and I'm clipping it down over here like that. I want it to be as even as I can. And then, you know, I'm lining up the edge as well. All right, so that seems decent. So I'm going to put a clip right in the middle. All right, and then I'm going to, I think, divide this in thirds. I think this is how we did it last night, too. So when I sew, I'm going to just really be concerned about the space in between to make sure that it's not getting too bulky in any spots. I'll like stretch it and try and move it. If it doesn't end up being perfect, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and maneuver it a little bit so between each clip it matches. Right here it looks like it might be a little loose here. So it'll be a lot of this the next few times. All right, so we got the left side done there. Let's get this right side. Okay, I'm going to start off by just matching up this end. This is where we'll start sewing right here as well. Get on there. Okay. Now I can flatten it out between those 2 points, line everything up. Ooh, now here feels like I need to stretch the bottom a little bit to get this lined up. I don't like that. So I'm going to just try and center it here and we'll work from there. The nice thing about these clips is they're flat on the bottom, so I can just push it on the ground or on the table here. So I don't have to like lift this up. Okay, get between here. All right, then between these two. bulkier there than I'd like it to be. Hey, Christy, glad you can make it. Yeah, it's coming along here. All right, I think we're set. Let's leave this open so I can put clips back into it right away. But I think we're ready to sew. So I'm gonna squish this up. I'm gonna put this in my lap because we are getting bulky here now, and then we'll sew on the edge here, and then we'll give it a nice press before kind of packing up this row. All right, there we are. And I think we should be able to get a whole nother one of these done tonight, or I'd like to assume that's the case. That's what I'd like to shoot for, at least. Kind of want to get my stiletto out here. Oh, and more parts are coming for the stiletto pre-order kit as well. So they're on their way yet. So we'll definitely keep you guys updated. I know you're wondering where those are. We are still receiving all the different parts for it. But that'll be a nice, fun project that we can do together coming up soon here. Gosh, you know what? When it gets bulky like this, it almost feels like I need to put the glove on just to help move this fabric a little bit. Because, you know, the sewing machine is pulling the fabric right here, but nothing's pulling it right here. And if it gets stuck on something, then I just kind of veer like this. So I think getting a glove on here might be helpful, just to kind of urge it forward. It just grips better than my hand, so I think that's a good idea. Might sew some straighter seams this way. It's already helping, I can tell. Ooh, it started feeling funny, but maybe it didn't. I got panicked that we ran out of bobbin all of a sudden there, but we just switched the bobbin. That bobbin wasn't completely full, but it wasn't bad. So we should have some bobbin for a while. There we are. Can you put painter's tape on? Oh, the snake spot. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Let's see. I think I do have some painter's tape. We can give that a look after I'm done here. It's actually really the corner. You know, I think, yeah, it might work on that spot right here, but what it's grabbing on too is the corner of the machine. What would really help is if I just did put my adjustment table, not my adjustment table, my extension. Adjustment is not the right word. The extension table on here, and then this would all have more to sit on, but I don't know. Just guiding that seam underneath there. All right, we're getting there. We're just about done. But it is grabbing right here, so I could try some tape there. Although I think why I haven't done the painter's tape here, like to mark my edge, I think last time I tried painter's tape on here, it made the surface of the machine like really weird. And I had to like scrub to get it off. Ugh. I don't know. All right, we're almost there. Oh, yeah, see, right now it's grabbing, but it's grabbing on the edge here. It's just because we have so many seams that it's getting caught in, like, all these little pockets. That's annoying. first grab all these guys and... Ooh, gosh, that magnet's strong on the bottom here. Just toss them back in there. Ooh, I kind of scraped it a little. Ugh, I'm gonna have to see if I can get that scrubbed off. Ugh, man, hurting my machine today. All right, we can take this off now. And I'm going to put this on for now, and I do want to press this before we get too far. But we should have a nice little sashing on there. All right, let's press it. Then we'll fold it up, and row number 2 will be done. Just looks so framed and pretty with the sashing. All right, let's scooch over our hair. Yeah, aren't these colors turning out really nice? I think so too, Jocelyn. Getting there. I can press and read your comments at the same time as I'm reading some of your comments here. All right, I forgot to clip that guy off. We'll get him in a sec. Oh, that's nice. A nice ironed fella right here. All right, let's snip this leader off. We're gonna actually need some more leaders soon, so I'll get that on hand. All right, that is row number 2 with its sashing at the bottom, looking all pretty. So I'm gonna just fold that up, just like how I did number 1. And this will be all ready to sew together. I mean, I really could sew 1 to 2 right now, but we're gonna go through each step separately. So I'll let this one sit for a little. Excuse me. I'm getting fuzzles all up in here. Sorry about that. Sheesh. Okay, rows 1 and 2. So ultimately, this one will be up here. And see, now with the sashing piece on the bottom, now we've finished our frame basically, except for our outside border. So this will make it look like each block is surrounded. Thanks, Amy. Okay, so here's row 1 and 2. Let's move on to 3. So I need another sashing piece. I'm like, okay, there's a third one. I'm like, I only have 2 here, but there was 3, so that's good. And you know, while I'm here, why don't I put that marking in the middle of this already? It seems almost lined up. And I'm touching it, so let's just do it. Okay, that seems pretty good. That's my halfway point on here. All right, let's set that aside. And now number 3. There we are. Okay, we need to do all the pressing for this again. Look at all these fuzzles here. We've handled this fabric so much before sewing it that we have so many little guys here. So this is going to be a whole job once we have this quilt sandwiched. I'll probably, before I quilt it, I'll go around and try and snip all those extra little fabric or thread edges off. Then we don't have to deal with it when we're quilting this. Someday when we're quilting this, out of here. So again, we only have to do this up to row 5, not all the way up to row 6, because we're just putting it on the bottom, and the bottom of row 6 is actually a border, so that's a whole separate step. But it'll be very similar, if not exactly the same as this. Actually, now that I think of it, I wonder if we should put that border on at the same time as this. Ugh, we've already treated it as an extra step. I think I'll leave it that way, because I might have to assemble the border like how we assembled these sashing pieces to make them longer. And that's a whole job I don't want to do right this moment. Okay, I'm gonna flip this, and we'll get the front all nice now. So many fuzzles. And I'm just getting in these seams a little bit better too. There we are. Yeah, got lots of little folds in here. This will be good to get it all nice and flat. This is a very white one. Kind of fun. Amy's asking, is there a standard rule for borders like top and bottom, and then sides, or sides and top and bottom? I'm sure the quilt police would have a rule. The way, I don't know if this is true, but the way I like thinking about it is I put them on the longer sides first, typically. So a lot of times that's the sides, because if I have a tall quilt, it'll be the sides first, because well, the sides first, and then I'll put the shorter part after that. Because otherwise, because it's actually making the longer part, the longer edges shorter, and the short edge longer, if you think about it. Because, you know, if I have the long edges, and if I have a tall quilt and I put the bottom row and the top row on first, I'm just making it taller so that my side borders have to be super extra tall. But if I put the side borders on first, then that's just the same height as the main quilt, and they're not like even longer. And then I put the bottom one on, which has to now have room for those side ones as well. But that was the shorter side anyway, so that it's okay that gets a little bit longer. Proportion-wise, I think it's more of like just visual proportions to do those shorter ones after, if that makes sense. I know that I can very much tell I did not explain that very well, but that's how I think about it. I want to not have that longest side even longer. I want to keep that, I want to do that one first. So I think that's typically how I do it. Now I'm curious how they do it in here, because this is a square quilt. So I want to look that up. We can just look at that diagram in here. Look how pretty. Ugh, I can't wait. Okay. So I guess it doesn't really say on the diagram. Oh, but it will matter on the diagram, won't it? Okay, 59. Okay, yeah, 62. So in this one, we are putting the top and bottom border on first, because I can tell because that's 59 inches, and that's the size of our sashing strips. And then the side ones are actually the longer ones. So they're putting on the side ones after. But in this case, so that's the opposite of what I typically do. But this is a square quilt, so it's a little bit different. And the other thing is, these borders look like the sashing. So it makes sense that it would look more normal for them to be the same size as this sashing going down. So that kind of makes sense. They are fatter though, that's interesting. So our sashing is 2 inches and the border is 2¼ inches. So we're just adding like a little teeny extra heft all the way around this. That's kind of funny. But that's what we're doing. It probably just looked proportionally just a hair better, framing it with a little bit bigger border. Okay, let's fold this in half. And again, I'm going by this center seam, or the center sashing. So let's line up the 2 seams of that sashing, then we'll get right in the center. There we are. All right, got it. And now I'm gonna unfold that again, and that's pretty center. And I got my strip that's already got my line in it. So all I have to do is make sure that I have the right sides together. So there we are. Okay, so I'm gonna start clipping. Clipping's a sit-down job. Let's get comfy again. All right, so I'm matching up those seams. They just fit in each other this time. All right, I guess I'm kind of more comfortable going this side first. So I'm just zooming over to the end. Okay, I'm doing that where I'm kind of flattening it all out. It all kind of just seems like it's going where it wants to. Doesn't seem like anything's blooped on one side more than the other. All right, I'm going to get like right in the middle. Zooming through it today. Ugh, this one's getting stuck. There we go. So I'm hoping to get the other 2 rows that we have to do this to done tomorrow. Then we'll be moving on to assembling the rows, but that will be next time because it'll be Finish It Friday. Have to look around here again on some stuff to finish. I like moving those projects along a little bit. I'm tempted to get that sheep that I'm knitting for the past however many years now that I've had that project. I'm tempted to get that out. We're at the home stretch of that, but I think I'm sort of at the stages where I need to look up how to do every stitch that I do now. But I might, if I'm remembering correctly, I might be at a point where the middle can be stuffed, and I wanted to make a pillow insert because it's a black sheep, and I didn't want to stuff it with just light colored stuffing. So I thought I'd make a black kind of pillow that I could stuff and then put that black pillow into the sheep. So maybe I'll bring that out and maybe we can see what we can do on that on Friday. That'd be a good project to move along a little bit. That's what Finish It Friday is for. It's the first Friday of the month. The first Friday of every new month. We just break out some unfinished project, and you know you got them. And then we work on that for put in an hour on that project. It'll be an hour more project done. And a lot of times that can jumpstart the actual finishing of the entire project. So I think, I don't know, that's been itching on my brain. Ooh, let's get my glove on again. For, I don't know, the past month I've been thinking about that little sheep a little bit more often, and maybe it's time to work on him some more. And it's awfully cute too, so it'd be fun to revisit it. Sewn to that next clip. I'm not stretching it, but I'm making sure that both the top and bottom are making it to that clip at the same time. So if one, I'm pulling out a hair just to make sure that both are moving at the same time. Need my stiletto to get that seam down. Oof, that seam was a little wobbly, but oh well. I think we're going to have a ton of time left, so we're going to get a head start, or maybe even finish, I don't know, a third row. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be a deal. So we'll get started on the next one right away here. Gosh, I gotta keep paying attention to my 1/4 inch. I'm just kind of sewing and not paying super close attention. There. Start concentrating again, I guess. Holding my breath a little bit there. All right, this is it. This is the end. All right, and I need another leader to take this off the machine. There we are. All right. Back to standing. All right, let's press that seam down, that sashing down, and we'll be done with row 3. My rows are definitely, some of the blocks are definitely bigger and some are smaller, the insides. We cut them all to the same size, but some erred on the side of a little bit more and some a little bit less. Like this one, we're pretty close to the little edges. Oh, there's our center, our little pressed points that we made in the center there. They're kind of still there after ironing, but once we wash this when we're done, it'll go away. Ugh, this is gonna be nice. I'm gonna have another quilt though. The house is getting full of these quilts, although we use them. We definitely use them. I'm just trying to think, where will I put this one? It'll be a little while yet. Oh, I'm just looking up and I'm reminded of this. I read a thing that for Facebook, if you want notifications for all of you watching on Facebook right now, I think a bell should pop up as you're watching the show here. So as you're watching, a bell should be there at the beginning or during this show or at the end. You should see a bell. If you click that during a live, then I think you'll be notified when I'm live again. I think, I don't know, I got an email from Facebook that mentioned that. I did not know that. All right, here's row 3. I'm going to fold them up, and let's get going on the next one right away. I think we have some time to at least get part of the process done on that, which is exciting because that might mean that we might be able to sew like rows 1 and 2 together on, well, tomorrow, I guess that would be already. That'd be pretty sweet. All right, row 3, you're getting tucked under the pile. All right, next up is 4, but we'll get the little, we'll match this guy up first, get that center point on here. Okay, just matching up the edges. I want to try and be right in the center. Okay, and I think that'll do it. Just finger pressing it, but let's also get a little tick mark in there. Good. Now let's press number 4. We gotta get those sashing parts first. And once we finish row 5, let's go ahead and press row 6 sashing like this, because we won't be pressing it beforehand like we are with these before we do the sashing, because that one doesn't get one. So I don't want to forget. So right after we finish 5, we'll go ahead and press 6. Even though we're kind of going to fold it up right away again, but it'll be pressed enough. Oops. Stretch that out. So I'm just getting the seam kind of going on this side, and we'll flip it around again. Oh, Sylvia says she gets a chime at the start. Oh, not a... Okay, bell. Yes, the bell rings when you come on. Oh, okay, Linda. So, all right. So those of you who are already put notifications on, you get a little bell. Perfect. So if you're not getting the bell, I think you can either go up to the notifications thing, but if you're watching and you're not in that view, there should be a picture of a bell that you can click, and then you'll get future notifications. Okay, good. So I'm glad that's working for the people who've already put notifications on. Good. All right, flip this guy around. I could press going back this way, but I don't know. I've been doing it this way and it feels comfortable, so I'm going to continue. So this one I kind of wish I didn't put next to each other. It's got two of these little green centers there, but oh well. I try to, things that have like really close or similarities or whatever, I was trying to spread that out a little bit when I laid this on the ground, but I missed that little deal there, but who cares? This type of stuff would be nicer on a slightly larger table, but we're making it work in my small little space here, I think. All those little extra lovelies make quilting just that much easier. Like, you know, not having a cord on this iron is awesome right now. So there are all like all those little things that I can just go on the mat right here. I don't have to go over to an ironing board. Like all the little gadgets, my little clips to put these together instead of pins. All of those things just make it a happier process. Doesn't mean you need them, that's for sure. You can do it all without, but it just makes it that much nicer. And right now, a larger table would make it that much nicer, I think. When you get to this sort of stage of a quilt where everything gets big. Oh man, did I clip corners here. Wow, okay. This must have been, oh god, I don't know, but we went way too big on this block. So my seam allowance, when I was sewing these together, my seam allowance must have been way too small because the small seam allowance makes a bigger block. And look how badly I clipped these points. I think that's the worst out of this whole thing so far. Compared to this, look at this one. Dang, I'm right on the points of all those. That is a good one right there. Not too shabby, but this one, whew, I sure clipped those. Sashing ate all the points. All right, I'm gonna fold this in half again and get my little fold point, and then we can match up our seam, or the sashing piece again, and I think we're gonna finish this guy too. So we're gonna be doing 3 tonight. That means we absolutely tomorrow will be able to start sewing actual rows together, not just the sashing. We are gonna start getting something that feels like a quilt here. All right, there's my fold. Actually, let's make sure I have the right sides together. Yep, good. That'd be a bummer to clip all of these and then find out that I had a right side and a wrong side together. All right, going to the end here. Oh, thanks, Ashley. Oh, and thanks, Maru. I'm really loving these colors. And again, the colors was like a big part of our process right at the beginning. We spent like a whole big long day looking at colors and just, we had the premise of color of the year. And that year, which was last year, it was kind of this blue color right here. And like there was like the Pantone color of the year, that color that everyone talks about for a little while, and then you start seeing in stores and everything. It was that color, so that was our starting point. So in theory, I wanted to make the whole sashing and everything the color of this, but I didn't have that much fabric. But I did have enough fabric of the teal, so I'm like, that goes with that blue. We could still showcase this blue and use this teal. So that's kind of where that started, and then we just picked the other colors, and not just the colors, but the amounts of the colors based on some of the photos that we found on Pinterest that we liked. For example, I have a lot more white in this quilt than I originally would have had because there was a photo that I liked that had a lot of, like, it was like a woman's outfit, and I loved the outfit. It was the colors I wanted, but then I realized there was a lot of white in the photo, like around her, like the background, there was a lot of white, and I saw some other pictures that we pinned that didn't have that white but had all the colors, and I liked it with the white better. So we made an active decision based on that to put more white. So I grabbed a whole lot more white than I would have on my own, based on that research, I suppose. Research affecting our choices. And I'm really happy. I love how much white is in here, and I think if I didn't put this much white, it would have been a much kind of, I think it would have still been pretty, but like a darker, kind of saturated look. And I think the white kind of gives it a little, like, space to breathe, maybe a little bit. So that was picking the colors was a big job. And speaking of that was the first video. So if you want help and suggestions on how to choose a color scheme, not just this color scheme, but any color scheme, kind of using Pinterest as a guide and as like a starting point, a jump off point, go watch the first video. I walk through like my entire process, and if you ever have like trouble deciding or like knowing if the colors go well together and making that final decision on color before starting a project, that video I'm hoping will help. So that is like, if you go to YouTube and go to this project, all of the videos are grouped together. You'll have to scroll way back 60 videos ago to our first one, and that video is where we run through that. So I definitely suggest doing that if you want a little color picker helper. Okay, glove, I want to use you again. There we go. Okay. I can't believe we're getting a third one done. Yay! Alright, I need to... My fingers are bulkier now with the glove on, so I can't just get my finger in here to help get that seam under. Having the glove on though right now is really helpful. I'm glad I'm doing that. Ooh, it's getting away from me a little bit. I think that's... Is that the halfway point? No, not quite yet. Next one is halfway. I love hearing it like kerchunk through some of the seams, some of these big seams. Works a little bit harder then. Alright, there's our center point. Ugh, I feel like my seam allowance is getting a little fat on some of those bits there, but we'll see how that works out later. Never-ending battle, I suppose, trying to get that good 1/4 inch seam allowance. stuck there. Ugh, that was a squiggly seam allowance, man. Must be getting late. Yeah, this is where it caught on my machine and it just kept stitching. I got all these little baby stitches. Let's give this a press, and number 4 will be done. Oh yes, Amy, I was talking about that earlier. The turkey lacer, the stiletto kits, we have more supplies trickling in every day on that, and so I'm hoping it's soon. We're waiting on the beads yet. One color bead is coming soon. Like, I got good tracking for that one, and then the other one is going to be just a little after that. So we got all the other parts though for it, so just waiting on those final beads. I will we'll throw out an update on that next week probably. But yep, they are coming. And we got enough so that we have everything for the pre-orders, and we should have a few extra. So if once we get it and we assemble them here and you like it, we should have a few more available immediately, not for pre-order anymore. So that'll hopefully be the case. We ordered a bunch more. And I think I'm going to continue to get even more supplies for that, like different beads and stuff too, because I think those would be like a really fun Christmas present, or like even a little kit to give out for Christmas or something to crafters or sewers. So a sewer would know what it is. I don't know about anyone else. But yeah, so I might get some more supplies too, because I think they'd be fun to just have those in the shop. Let's get this guy. Ooh, that was a sad looking corner right there. Luckily we're quilting this, and that will take care of a lot of, well, no one's going to see any of this stuff anyway. All my little clipped corners. That's what makes it made by a human. That's nice. Okay, that is row number 4. Looking awfully cute. Ugh, they're fun. This was that other color of the year. So this was the Kona. This isn't Kona fabric, but this was like close to the Kona fabric color of the year. So we had like both colors of the year for last year in this quilt, and that was the inspiration. I always like parameters on projects. It's helpful to make decisions because, you know, if I know that I'm sticking to the color of the year, that's my parameter, then, you know, it's easy to stick with that. You don't, you don't have like a zillion options, because it has to be the color of the year. So I like giving myself a few parameters, and then there's a lot of creativity that you can do within the parameter. That's kind of how I like approaching projects like this. So, all right, that is 4. I'm going to add it under the stack here. So we only have 1 left, and we will do this one tomorrow. We actually have 2 more rows, but like we were talking about, only row 5 gets one, row 6 doesn't. So we'll put this on row 5 right away tomorrow, and then we'll also press row 6 just so it's pressed like the other ones are. And then we'll go back and we'll put like row 1 and 2 together. We'll start assembling larger pieces. So we'll do the same thing where we fold it in half and find that center point, and then we'll match it all up and stuff. Oh my gosh, I was just thinking, it's gonna be even bulkier on my little table. So this will start getting interesting how we can do this. We'll be scrunching up all over the place here, but that's where we are leaving it for tonight. Yeah, it's coming together here. We got 3 of them done tonight, so that's excellent. Yay! So again, we're getting farther than I thought for the week. And then Friday is Finish It Friday, first Friday of the month, where we break something else out. And like I was saying earlier tonight, I think I'm leaning towards seeing where that knit lamb pillow, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show it to you on Friday, assuming I work on that. I'm thinking about bringing that out, and we'll see where I'm at in the knitting process with it. Maybe we can do a little bit of knitting, although I haven't knit in probably over a year, so that'll be interesting getting back into that. But what I really want to do is make that pillow insert, because like I said, it's a black yarn for the sheep, and I don't want to just stuff it with white stuffing. You'll be able to see that. So I have some black fabric, and I think I'll use that to make like a pillow insert instead of just stuffing it right into the yarn. I think it'll be better if there's an insert. So that would be a step in the right direction on that project, and I feel good about that. It needs an hour of time put into that one. So maybe we'll do that. All right. Oh, and we're frozen again, you guys. So we'll keep having to look at that. But anyway, if you can hear me still, I will see you tomorrow. Good night.